Welcome to The Explainer. We're about to crack open the ultimate instruction manual, the one for you, for me, for the human body. We're going to see how this whole thing actually works. Yep, today it's all about the science of you. This incredibly complex, fascinating, and honestly, sometimes baffling machine we all live in. And to guide us, we're going to use a classic textbook as our map. I mean, where do you even start? Right now, as you're listening, there are trillions of things happening inside you. A thought forming, your heart beating. How do you even begin to wrap your head around that? Well, you got to start somewhere, right? So that's what we're going to do. We're taking a tour, a little road trip through the table of contents of a classic C.C. Chatterjee's Human Physiology. We'll see how the story of our body is told, one logical step at a time. All right. Let's dive in. We're going to kick things off with what is arguably the single most important concept, the one idea that basically governs your entire existence. First off, let's be clear. We're talking about physiology. This isn't just anatomy, naming a bunch of parts. No, this is about the how and the why. It's the science of how everything functions, the dynamic processes that keep you, well, you. And this is the master program running in the background 24/7, homeostasis. It's the body's nonstop, relentless quest for balance. You know when you shiver when it's cold or sweat when it's hot? That's it. That's homeostasis in action. It's this silent automatic process that keeps everything, your temperature, your blood sugar, a million other things, in that perfect narrow range that keeps you alive. Okay, so if the goal is balance, how does the body build itself to even achieve that? Well, as our textbook guide shows us, you have to start small. I mean, incredibly small. And that's exactly where the book begins, right down at the bottom with the fundamental building blocks of all life. So it all starts with the cell. And you can think of each cell as having its own little to-do list, right? You gotta let the good stuff in, get the bad stuff out, and do it all while living in this perfectly controlled liquid world. Really, it's just homeostasis all over again, but on a crazy microscopic scale. And you take trillions, literally trillions of these little microscopic parts, each one doing its own little balancing act, and you put them all together. What do you get? A whole coordinated organism. You get you, something that can think and move and do all sorts of incredible things. So what's next? Well, you've got all these cells, but they can't just be isolated islands. You need to connect them, and that's where blood comes in. It's the river of life, the ultimate transport network. It's carrying supplies like oxygen and nutrients, but it's also carrying your own personal security team, your immune cells, to protect every last part of the body. Okay, so we've got the building blocks and we've got the delivery system, but how do you get all those parts to actually do something? How do you coordinate everything to create movement? This is where section 3 of our guide comes in, and it's a big one. It introduces us to the body's high-speed internet, the nerves, and its powerful engines, the muscles. And really, it's a beautifully simple and powerful partnership. The nerves are like the wiring, the body's internet, zapping these lightning-fast electrical signals all over the place. And the muscles, they're the engines that get those signals and just execute. They contract, they create movement, they power everything from a tiny twitch to a full-on sprint. But wait a second. All those muscles, all those cells, they need fuel to follow those commands, right? An engine is totally useless without a fuel line. So where does the fuel and the oxygen come from? And that question brings us to our next two huge systems, the cardiovascular and the respiratory. You can think of them working together as the body's absolute critical supply and delivery network. I mean, this is where you really see how perfectly everything works together. It's this incredible dance. The respiratory system pulls oxygen in from the air. Then the cardiovascular system, with the heart as its pump, sends that oxygen-rich blood out to every single cell. And on the way back, it picks up the garbage, the carbon dioxide, and brings it back to be exhaled. It's just a brilliant design. So we've got the delivery system sorted. But where does the actual fuel that goes into the delivery system come from? And what do we do with all the waste that's produced? For those answers, our tour takes us to the digestive and renal systems, or as you might think of them, the body's power plant and its super advanced purification plant. And again, it's this beautiful division of labor. You've got one system, your digestive tract, that's responsible for breaking down food into usable energy and nutrients that can be absorbed into the blood.
Then you have the other system, the kidneys, which are constantly, meticulously filtering that same blood, pulling out all the waste products, and keeping our body fluids perfectly regulated. And what's just mind-boggling is that this whole logical journey we've taken, from cells to transport to command and control to fuel, we've barely even scratched the surface. Not just of the textbook, but of you. Because here's the thing, none of these systems work alone. They're not in little boxes. They're all part of this wildly interconnected, complex network. Everything is constantly talking to everything else, influencing each other in ways we are still just beginning to figure out. I mean, seriously, we haven't even touched on the endocrine system, the body's chemical messengers, the hormones, or the entire reproductive system, which is the blueprint for the next generation. We've barely mentioned the nervous system, the thing that gives rise to thought, memory, consciousness itself, or our special senses, sight, sound, smell, the very tools we use to perceive the world. Each one of these is a whole universe to explore. And you know, all of it, this entire intricate machine, works together every single second of every single day, all to maintain one thing, that balance, homeostasis. So that leaves us with the real question, doesn't it? What happens when that balance is lost? Well, that question, that's the very foundation of medicine. And that is a story for another time.